Hey, Facebook. I'll let you guys do its thing. Set myself up. Make sure that you guys could hear me. And whoever I said yesterday, anybody who got a nice beat that thinks will go well for, my theme is any something. But, Facebook don't want you putting any music or anything like that. But I'll definitely shout out whoever who wouldn't mind putting on music to this show. Sit on down and tune in. Today is Tuesday, June the 6th. So for those who are just tuning in, please share this with other entrepreneurs who you think would be great for. Type in the chat your city and state where you're tuning in from. I'd love to hear and know where you guys are tuning in from. And if you got a business, say what it is. Shout it out. Put a link. I don't mind. Only allowing on this one. But yeah, being that we are talking about entrepreneurship. So I'm going to go ahead and start. For those who do and do not know me, my name is Lauren L.C. Thriva, the Thriving Entrepreneur. And I am here tuning in at ThriveAbundantly TV. This is a place for entrepreneurs, and I am here to make you go, to think about in your business, and also gut check you into your business. There's a lot of times where you need someone like that to make you go, and think on what you should be doing and should be focusing on in your business. And I'm here to tell you, if you do not have a mentor or a coach or anything like that, you need it. That was one of the biggest mistakes that I did, that I verbally shared on last week's episode, of what if I would have definitely got a coach or a mentor, I would have shed about 4 years off of my career. So I definitely don't want, you guys to see like that. If there's anything that I could do and help, I help women entrepreneurs to excel and take leaps and bounds in their business that they never thought before, and to be able to get the income and the desire that they want online without burnout or sacrificing time with their family. So that's my little spiel. Yesterday was a pretty good topic. I got a couple people who were telling me what type of entrepreneur they were, and I had shared that there's 4 breeds of entrepreneurs. I'll just do a quick spiel about it. So the 4 entrepreneurs is intra, extra, info, and auto. So you got intrapreneur. This type of person majors in major skill is to influence and lead. They like to sell, things like that. Usually these type of people, get residual income. They're insurance agents, security agents, network marketers, car salesmen, things like that. They have either that past or anything like that, and they are more of an entrepreneur. An extrapreneur is someone who enjoys creating or entertaining. They pretty much are songwriters, producers, actors, visual artists, game designers, celebrity endorsers are also extrapreneurs. So those type of people, they like to come to a space of creating stuff that will entertain other people. Infopreneur, this is pretty much a large majority of entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs are infopreneurs, or definitely have a high skill set of it, and they are pretty much skilled around organizing and teaching. This person makes money selling information. product is in like data, specialized information, expertise, knowledge, and skill, which is where you're seeing a lot of entrepreneurs today are making massive income in. They're crushing it in the industry. If you have those who are like me, I'm a coach. I am definitely an entrepreneur. I had 12 years of experience within being an entrepreneur, 6 years ongoing, and I have so much expertise and skills that I've even launched and had many businesses, and I can help the next person to do the same. So that's how you package yourself up to be of a service, consulting, things like that. And then the fourth one, some of the infopreneurs, as I said, they may have like an expertise consulting. They're authors, marketing consultants. You even have software creators, franchisers, things like that. Those are infopreneurs. And then the last one was autopreneurs. These people are skilled to analyze and invest. Like they like to, find particular bargains. They're good at, comparing different products and projects and things like that. They like to analyze and crunch numbers, particularly. They like to make money in investing in products and services, looking for ownership of automated streams of income to basically help you without a hassle. Someone like this is like a financial advisor, an investor, a broker, things like that. They particularly like to look into like investments that will yield dividends and interest. So you have someone who's more of an entrepreneur, and it's not to say that these people have to be like a investor, because I personally know someone who's an infopreneur, but they make a large amount of their money in investments, and they got really good at the stock market. So that's an entrepreneur. It doesn't say they have to be in this particular list, but they are also, entrepreneurs are like real estate investors. They work on as far as like company pension plans. They kind of do like settlements. What else? You have those who do like tax lien certificates. Even those who buy mailing lists, because mailing list has big money in it. And for those who are not on my mailing list, I'll definitely go ahead and type in the chat. Let me just get down here. I'll type in the chat on where you can get on my mailing list. And, real estate, those who are in real estate, owners, those are pretty much the examples where I can think off the top of my head who are autopreneurs. They pretty much like cash flow profit. And just to give a definition of an entrepreneur, it's pretty much a person who sells a product or service for a profit. So if you are that particular type of entrepreneur, that's you. So those are the four breeds. As I said, you have intrapreneur, extrapreneur, infopreneur, autopreneur. So those are the four particular breeds. And like I said, I fall in the line of definitely an autopreneur. So if you are, most of entrepreneurs are there. So someone's typing in the chat. I can't. Whatever symbols that you just put, I don't I don't know what that says. So sorry. Okay, so pretty much what I wanted to share on was talking about, setting yourself up as an entrepreneur and the right way to go about it. So a lot of times, like I said, I've shared as far as the different particular mistakes that you could do, ways how you can learn from your mistakes and struggles. I've shared a lot of that. So if those are particular contents and things like that that you need, especially if you are at a space and you're an entrepreneur and you're kind of struggling in your business, or you've made some leaps and bounds, but you're just trying to figure out where are you stuck at, or why you're not getting the particular areas that you need to make that journey where you are. Because I've been, like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for some years, and I have been doing pretty well. I mean, there was, of course, areas where I felt like I could have made some room for improvement, but overall, I was pretty well. But, one thing I have to tell you guys is, if you're at a space where you're comfortable, and that's where I was comfortable. You got to be very careful when you're, like I said, especially you're a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I don't have, a job or anything like that. One of the sometimes downfalls with an entrepreneur is, you don't have any benefits. So last week, or maybe the week before, I talked about setting yourself up financially as an entrepreneur, what type of things you need to make sure and secure yourself. But, if you're an entrepreneur and you're definitely in a space where, you need to continue to make, you always have to grow, because your business can flop, things can change. You always have to be in a space where you change. When I talked about the 8 biggest mistakes or whatever, I talked about one of the mistakes that entrepreneurs can make is not being adjustable to change. A lot of us as human beings and creatures, we don't like change. So a lot of times that's where you get so stagnant in a place. I have a new client that I started working with. And, there's the old school things, passing out business cards, kind of going to events and things like that, and not utilizing the space of the internet. So, it's really important for her to start learning that skill set of how to start marketing and branding herself online. It's she has tons of space where she can improve in that area. So that's where, I always share. I give a lot of great content as far as on my email list. Oh, and I didn't comment. Okay. So in the chat, you'll see my mailing list where you can go ahead and subscribe as well in the link. But I also give a lot of content. I share a lot of particular books that you should read. You always want to keep yourself in a space that you're feeding your brain. Like, you need to always put yourself in a space that you are growing in a mental space as a person, as well as an entrepreneur. The more you do your self-development and work on yourself, the more that your business can thrive and grow. So one of the best spaces where I share that you can expand and grow in your business is kind of like shaping it as like a pyramid. And for those who get all whoopy whoop and scared about somebody saying pyramid schemes and all that stuff, please exit the stage. I'm just going to say that now. I'm not even going to go too far in it. The pyramid has a lot of very great, if you're conscious enough, but I'm not even going to go too far. But pretty much I like to set up a foundation when you are growing as an entrepreneur as if it's a pyramid. So when you have a base of, when you have a pyramid, what you got? You have a base, right? So your base is where you should worry and focus about you, who you are, what you are, everything that you need to do, because you can have this idea and expand and work. But if you don't have the faith and belief in yourself, if you don't have the tenacity it is to grow, and being an entrepreneur and thriving as a business, it takes some serious work. You cannot be lazy. You cannot be, like I said, not willing to expand and grow. You cannot be overly sensitive. You got to be able to take criticism, whether it's constructive or not. There's a lot of people out there that oh, well, I can take criticism as long as it's constructive. But you got to remember, especially when you're out here on the internet, you're going to get criticism anyway. It don't matter. So you have to learn how to, kind of be like a horse with the blinders here, and you just focus on your vision. It doesn't matter whether it's constructive or not. But that's why it's important to build you up, setting yourself up, building your character. So a lot of the things that, negative things are something that people are particularly saying. Sorry, I didn't even know this thing was up here this whole time. A lot of things that people are particularly saying can easily just bounce off of you. Like, you don't even see it. You get what I'm saying? So learn to be able to take, constructive criticism, any kind of criticism per se. So you have to really work on yourself. And yes, Miss Kia James, CEO of Taylor Beauty. I just used your products on my hair, girl. For those who like, I don't care if you're not even natural. Even when I wore my hair straight, we had the CEO, Kia James of Tailored Beauty Products. I love her products, her shea butter. I would grab the bottle and show it all over, but I don't want to have to get up and look for it. But I just used her product and it smells good. Can y'all smell it? Smell the ambiance. But yeah, she said, be humble. Yes, you have to be humble. And being humble is just at a space where, you want to keep yourself in, like, okay, how I look at being humble is, you have your highs, your lows, and you stay in the middle lane. You get what I'm saying? You don't get too crazy or too excited, on whatever it is. Like I'm saying, every journey that you take, always celebrate yourself, but don't let it blow your head up. You get what I'm saying? And when I say will blow your head up, like, you don't want it to be to the point that you are changing as a person. Always remain to be yourself. And if it's certain areas, yesterday I talked about, I don't look at anything as a weakness. You know how a lot of times people say, what's the pros and cons, strengths and weakness? I don't like to say that just because I'm very mindful of your words and the power of your tongue and what you say. And a lot of times what I notice when, how you're in school or work and they always make you look at your strength and your weakness, it's like as soon as you start getting to your weakness, you're feeling down or you get all caught. I just feel like it creates a sense of energy. So I don't look at an area when you always want to self-evaluate yourself. I don't look at when I'm talking about, myself to say a weakness. I look at, the strengths and what did I say yesterday? I can't remember because I was just kind of going off the top of my head, but there is no weakness in you. Like I said, we all are created from a great source and we are all made of greatness. It's just the fact that maybe some outshine for the other. And like I said, when you have areas where, you have your strength, but you have an area where you have room for improvement, or, you have, areas where you're awesome at, and then you have some strength factors. That's where I said, wherever that you may have a lack of or a room for improvement, that's where you need to delegate, outsource other spaces and areas where these people can expand in those areas where you might not shine. So with me, I work with a lot of people who, I'm just not scared to jump in front. Well, now, because before, oh my God, you couldn't pay me to get on any kind of camera. You couldn't pay me to speak in public or anything. But now I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Because especially if, with my vision and, the things that I've been blessed to come across, it's important for me to get this. I have to do my due diligence to get the information and education out there. So there's some times where people may lack in that particular area. So this is why it's good to collaborate. So as I said, when you're building that pyramid, you have your business, where it's linear to, and then you have your wealth. This is when you work on these three areas, you have the three trinities here, and this is where you start to create abundant life. This is what ThriveAbundantly is all about. This is what my brand and my business is all about. Building up that trinity of those three things that you need, to be able to expand and excel. And this is where I help, women entrepreneurs in. So it's really important that you focus particularly on those three areas. As I said, I always give ongoing content to share. I did put my mailing list link in the link below if you're not on my mailing list, because I give a lot of extra content to particular, entrepreneurs who are out there, especially, like I said, women entrepreneurs. But I have men who are on. I really, open you guys and love the feedback that you get. And there's times I get more feedback from the men than the women, especially like here on live. Like there's only women. I only have women clients right now. But the thing is, you always got to be in a space where you are setting yourself up for an amazing place. And the best place to do it is set your foundation. And the best foundation is you, focusing on you. Like I said yesterday, a lot of times entrepreneurs feel like because we come from, well, I don't know about everybody who's on here, but because we come from a space where they trained us in school to be someone else's employee, we have the tendency, because that is a business that we can walk away from, we don't have to really work so much on ourselves. We just do what's on the paper or the job or the computer and clock out and go home. Because we come from that space and mindset, we have the tendency to feel like we don't have to mix business with pleasure. I know I used to tell my employees, especially if they had a issue or maybe didn't like me. I didn't really have a lot of problems with people, but if I ever had that, I'm like, look, I don't miss business with pleasure. You my coworker. You don't have to be my personal friend. We just got to come here to work, because guess what? We can all go and clock in, clock out. When you're an entrepreneur and it's your life and your business, and you're working your business around the clock, especially if you're working a business from home, you got to work on yourself a lot, because your own life gets in the way of your business. So that's why it's really important that you work on that foundation, which is you. I'm telling you, one of the things that was major for me is having a daily morning success ritual. You need to have something that you're very consistent with, giving yourself time, me time. I don't check my email. I don't check my phone. Sometimes, that's why I always take the notifications off my phone and put it in silent. But if I didn't work on Lauren yet, and I didn't spend the time for me to nourish myself, my mind, I make sure, I eat, read my scripture, or whatever the case may be. I do my prayer, meditation, and then I usually read like 10 pages. A lot of times, because I have clients very, very early in the morning in my other business, in my training business, I have to be at the gym sometimes 6:30, 7:30 in the morning. So I usually do my reading. I have 2 books that I read. I have one that's like a book, and it's God's Words of Women. And then I also read the Master Key System by Charles H, something like that. So it's more like a workbook. So you read it like that. And then I have my goals, my affirmations. I go through all that. And it sounds like a lot, but really it's like a 10 to 15 minute thing. Sometimes my meditation, depending on how much time I woke up, I may get into a deep prayer meditation. But you got to take that time for you. If you don't, especially as an entrepreneur, you haven't filled your cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Think about that. Remember that. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you're an entrepreneur and you are of a service to others, if you have not took the time to work on you and yourself and feed yourself, that you are energized and your cup is full for you, yourself, God, whatever, you can't pour onto other people. You're going to burn out quick. And this is exactly what I coach on, because a lot of, entrepreneur women that I've coached, and I've been there before, have been tired, burnt out, just don't even feel like doing everything that else you got to do for your business, because you haven't even took the time to work on yourself. So that's why we're a lot of areas where you feel burnt out, or you just can't seem to get your mind right, or, you just can't get there. You ever been at a space where you're just like, I just can't do this today. I can't adult today. Like people who aren't even entrepreneurs. I know y'all. I mean, I say it, and I don't have a job. There's times I wake up, I'm like, I don't feel like adulting today. If you ever wake up in a mood and you're just not in the mood, and you're already telling yourself before you start the day, oh, it's going to be a bad day, I challenge you to stop. I would say stop, drop, and roll, but stop, drop, and get on bending knees. Like you need to come to a space where you need to meditate, or whatever it is that you do, no matter the religion. Please understand, I'm a very spiritual person, not a religious person. So I'm not going to Bible thump anyone or anything like that. I have my own, space where, I work on myself and I have my beliefs, but I'm not putting that on anyone else. When I say prayer and meditation, I mean, sit with yourself and talk to yourself, no matter what it is that you particularly believe in. That's a very profound quote. Thank you, Mr. Dior. And I agree, self-care is very important. It is. I mean, excuse my dog, y'all. Somebody's probably at the door. But she's such a diva. But yeah, if you ever like I said, you come at a point, sometimes you need to take breaks and pay attention to things that happen in your life. Like, because sometimes, especially if you're anything like me, like, I'm a thriver. I grind all day, you know what I'm saying? But I've learned to start taking some self-care. Like the weekends is my settle time, and I do very minimal work. And it took me up until like maybe this year. Been an ongoing nonstop entrepreneur for about 6 years. So it finally took me to that point to start taking some time for me, because I realized the importance of that Trinity that I'm telling you guys about. And this is like where I consistently remind my clients, if they feel like they're all over the place, haven't did this, haven't finished, and they're like this, like running like a chicken with their head cut off, I always ask, How consistent have you been in your morning success ritual? And the only reason why I know, because I've been in that same place. If I don't get my morning success rituals, I'm a little all over the place. You get what I'm saying? Or I'm having a hard time to stay consistent. I'm not saying if it's one, but depend on how consistent you've been with it. Like, I've pretty much been consistent most of this year. I started really on it. Oh wow, it's about to be a year that I've been very adamant with my morning success ritual. Probably like the end of last summer. And I have days where I stop and fall off, especially if I'm sick or not feeling well or something like that. And I can tell the difference, especially if it goes over time. If you haven't read the book Compound Effect, why can't I think who wrote it? The Compound Effect by The Compound Effect. I was reading that book. It's a really good book because it shows you the importance of how something. Darren Hardy, he actually was one of the owners of the Success magazine. But Darren Hardy, Compound Effect, is a really good book. You can get the audio probably on YouTube or whatever for free. It's really good to really get a good understanding and listen to that, because it's like kind of like, how they say, you're dripping just a drop in a bucket. Eventually, like I said, it may seem small. You get a big bucket and you just put one drop in, or even in the tub, right? And just one drop at a time. It seems like it's nothing, but it's making an overflow. So the more that you feed into that, you will have an overflow of an abundance. And the best place to work, as I said, is that foundation. So it's always good to put yourself at a place to set yourself up. And then one other thing before I go, because we are topping out our time, and we're going to continue tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So don't forget to definitely check in. Like I said, if you're not on my mailing list, the link is in the link below. And definitely like my page. Please share this with other entrepreneurs where you can see that this would be very helpful for if you definitely got some nuggets. But one of the places I really want to remind you guys with, remember this. Who said this quote? I'm always good with, I always remember stuff, but can't remember where the heck I get it from. But I think it was an interview that I was, what is that lady's name? I ain't even gonna mess that up. I ain't gonna do that to y'all. But I remember it sat with me. I heard it a couple years ago, but she said, fly the plane as you're building it. Us entrepreneurs, especially if you are one of the people who are perfectionists, you have to get off the ground. You got to go, but you can't just build. I understand if you're flying a real plane, okay. But in the entrepreneur world, especially when you're building online, and like I said, people are tired of these super guru, clean cut, extra, they're flying yachts they on yachts, flying jets and things like that. Not to say anything's wrong with that, because I'm gonna tell y'all, I get my money, I'm gonna be in my jet. I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times people aren't looking for perfect. People like when you look like a home product, and they was there with you as you built. If Kia James is still on here, I love her product, and I've been a part of her product because I've seen when she started. And it's amazing to see, like, I remember her journey. So, congrats to you. Like, she is an amazing mom. She's out there, branding, and she has people who've been following her from the beginning of her journey. That's where people go. If she worried about getting her product to be so perfect, to the super perfection, I'm not saying that, you do want to be mindful of how you brand yourself and get yourself out there, but it's great when people see, like, that they can relate to you, especially if you're dealing with people. Now, if you're dealing with, like, I know the importance with, like I said, with her, she, getting her product out there, her first consumers was, the average person who was buying hair products or body products and things like that. But when you want to get yourself out there to, like, the big businesses, the high marketers and things like that, yes. But when you're just starting out, you don't have to worry about being everything perfect, especially if you're dealing with the everyday consumer or person. Just get out there. Remember, fly the plane as you're building it. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Like I said, tune in tomorrow at 12:30 p.m., which is Wednesday. I hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday. I appreciate, let me make sure. Thanks. You welcome, Miss James. I hope you guys appreciate the content. And for those who aren't on my mailing list, Like I said, I'm giving amazing content for you guys, and I email my list every day, Monday through Friday, to get ongoing special care conversation between me and them. So share this off. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. LC Private signing out.